to item 16, application for a certificate of appropriateness in the Borough of Brooklyn, docket number 15-4570, block 1255, lot 42, 270 New York Avenue in the Crown Heights North Historic District 2, a Dutch Renaissance Revival style row house designed by Frederick L. Hine and built circa 1899. This is an application to rebuild an existing rear yard addition and modify a projecting bay.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Abby Hurlbut, Preservation Staff. The application is for work at the rear of the building at 270 New York Avenue, which is located on the west side of New York Avenue between Lincoln Place and St. John's Place and Crown Heights North Historic District Extension. There are two aspects to this proposal. The first is to replace an existing one-story addition at the basement level in the rear. You can see photos of this here. To replace it with a new addition that will occupy the same footprint and will be the same height as the existing addition, and to install a metal stair. The second portion of this proposal is to modify this bay window in the rear. They are proposing to remove the central window, to lower the sill and install a door. And the reason why this is before you is because the bay window is a special feature of the building, and the addition will be slightly visible from Lincoln Place, and you can see this in your handouts on page 9, photos 2 and 3. And the architect is here to discuss the details of the proposal.
Yeah, good afternoon. I'm Jim Shepley from Studio Jas2 Architect. I'll try to be as brief as possible, as I know everybody's eager to get the Sahadas for lunch. So as Abby pointed out, if you look on sheet 1, the lower center photograph, there's an existing bay window. It has a non-historic grills on it. There's a shed roof that terminates at the sill of that window. If you go to the photograph to the right of that on sheet 1, it shows a photo a little back in the middle of the yard looking at that rear extension with that shed roof, again going up to the, covering up the bottom portion of the bay window. If you turn to sheet 2,
Cladding on that wood or sheet metal?
excuse me?
The cladding on the,
It's sheet metal cladding. If you look also, I'm sorry, on sheet 1, so what we're proposing to do is just to the right of the bay window, there's a exposed metal conduit and a light fixture. That's going to be removed. The security grills will be removed, and the shed roof will be lowered. On sheet 2, there's a comparison of the rear elevations, the existing condition. It shows how much of the bulk of the shed roof blocks the bay window, which is really the contributing element here. And by lowering it to a flat roof, you see a lot more of the bay window. On sheet 9, as Abby pointed out also, just for a brief moment on Lincoln Place at viewpoints 2 and 3, do you see just a slight tip of the rear addition. And now my associate Darren will walk you through our proposed design, which is on sheet 3.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, my name is Darren Jett, and I'm the project manager of the new extension. I'm going to talk more about the rear facade right here on page 3. You can see that by getting rid of that existing extension, getting rid of that shed roof and making a flat roof, you actually expose more of the bay right here. We're actually going to keep that open with an open kind of airy feel of a railing on that deck with aviation cable and a steel handrail. And that'll actually wrap around on this steel staircase right here. As Abby and Jim have mentioned already, we are proposing to replace the center window with the door. The door will be a black steel door, which actually matches the black of the trim of the windows. And, but we're actually keeping it within the same parameters of the existing windows along the top and with the width. And on the facade of the new addition, we're going for more of a modern aesthetic, but to kind of tie it back into the context of the existing rear of the townhouse, we are having the fenestration fall within the regulating lines of the bay window right here. And also the scale of the double hung windows matches the scale of the existing windows up top. And to further tie it in, we're having a reclaimed brick, which will be similar to the scale and the shape and the color of the existing.
Yes.
I got to ask a somewhat heretical question, since we usually don't go for foul stuff, but I was wondering if you had considered, or if it might be possible to make the door appear more like the central bay by having, just have it look like a double hung window with, so that from a distance or from the rear, it could appear to be similar to the existing bays, just because this is such a nice feature of this row. Would there be some way to have the door look much more like the current bay?
Yeah, absolutely. We could reduce the amount of glazing and have a bottom soft fill panel match the,
So that if you were looking from the side or the back, you would think you saw it.
absolutely.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, testimony. Community Board 8 recommends approval. Our support is contingent on the rebuilt extension not exceeding the footprint of the existing extension, right? Huh? Which is true. Okay. Discussion, Fred.
I think I'm fine with it. I think I could be fine with it as is, but Diana's suggestion is also an interesting one, and I'll just wait to see what transpires as we talk about it around the table.
Libby?
Yeah, I'm convinced that what's being proposed in the rear is entirely appropriate to the building and sensitive to its original condition. I can support it.
Michael?
Yeah, I think it's appropriate. I like the idea about the changing of the door.
Yeah, I can support it the way it is, but I can also accept the change on the door. It doesn't matter to me.
Okay. Diana, you've already spoken, right? You're in favor? Yeah, with
Yeah,
that
I can accept it,
suggestion.
I can accept it the way it's proposed. I think actually the presentation is very clear, the detailing is very clear, and so it leads me to believe that we would be happy with the result when it's completed. I want to note that is one of the biggest donuts I've spaces ever. Yeah.
It's appropriate. I think it's generally okay. I'm mystified as to where the mullions come from. The rest of the facade has no mullions. I would suggest that they just make I think the suggestion about having the bottom panel on the doors is a good one. I'd say get rid of the mullions.
Berta?
And I also think that having a change so that there's a panel or something at the bottom.
Okay. So we'd suggest that to the, when you work with the staff to get the approval. We'll do the approval now with a first close the hearing, motion second. Diana, please.
Okay, in the matter of the certificate of appropriateness, Borough Brooklyn, 270 New York Avenue, Crown Heights North Historic District 2. A Dutch Renaissance Revival style row house designed by Frederick L. Hine and built circa 1899. Application is to rebuild an existing rear yard addition and modify a projecting bay. I recommend approval, finding that the reconstruction of the existing modern addition will not result in a damage to or demolition of any significant architectural feature of the building, that the proposed work will not extend to the rear lot line or substantially eliminate the presence of the rear yard, that a majority of other buildings of this type in the block feature comparable or larger rear yard additions, or enlargements in terms of their number of floors and projections into the rear yard, that the reconstruction of the existing rear yard addition will not result in the enlargement of the addition in terms of footprint or maximum height, that the removal of a small portion of the bay beneath one existing sill in order to convert a window to a door will be a modest alteration which will not significantly alter the character or compositional organization of the bay, and that the applicant will work with the staff to further approximate the current appearance of the bay with regard to glazing, mullion, and a possible panel at the bottom of the bay that is being enlarged. Which is accommodating the door, excuse me. That the alterations will only be barely perceptible from a public thoroughfare from limited vantage points at a distance at oblique angles within the context of secondary facades, and that the overall effect of the proposed work will not overwhelm the building or detract from the special architectural and historic character of the building, site, or historic district.
Second, all in favor? Aye, opposed? Approved. Thank you. We're going to break